Yo, I'm Ryan Breen and welcome to Breen Basketball. So today I'm doing a personal video, probably for the first time. This is going to be about my personal timeline of how I became a Damian Lillard super fan and sort of just my thoughts with the team. So I'm going to be this is off the top of my head. I don't really have crazy I don't have notes or anything. This is just off memory, how everything happened, how the Blazers have been. And if you couldn't tell, I'm a massive Damian Lillard fan. He's literally my profile picture for this channel. And when people ask me what team I'm a fan of, I say Knicks first, and then I'm whatever team Dame is on. Because I just support him that much. He is just my favorite player. I can't even explain it. So I'll just get right into it. So I personally became an NBA fan in 2015-2016 season, which is the best possible season to do so because it's probably the best season of all time. You had the 73-9 Warriors, you had the 3-1 upsets, just all of it. It was just a great season. Kobe's last year. It was an amazing year. So I started watching that year, and that year the Blazers were okay. I was more so just an NBA fan and a Knicks fan, but the Knicks were kind of garbage. But Dame was my favorite player, so I would watch some Blazers games, and all I remember is in the second round, because the Blazers were the 5 seed, but we made the second round. In the second round against the Warriors, I think it was game 2, we won, and I was just incredibly happy because it was against the 73-9 Warriors, and just to even get a game on them was insane. So yeah, that was just all for my first season. Then the second season was the 2016-17 season. And this year, the Blazers sort of took a step back. Their roster just wasn't great. I don't know. We had Al-Farouq Aminu. I'll also mention I was a massive Ed Davis fan at this time. He was probably one of my favorite players for years for no reason because he was not good. But we went 41-41 this year. Got the 8 seed and got swept by the Kevin Durant Warriors in the first round. So was really not a good time. Dame I believe was an all-star this year. He got snubbed the year before, but I'm pretty sure he was an all-star. But then the next year was really when Dame became an elite player. Because up until this point, it was kind of iffy. It was he was a fringe top 10 player. But the next year, the 2017-18 year, we got the 3rd seed. Dame came onto the scene as probably the 3rd best point guard in the league behind Steph and Russ, and Chris Paul was also in that argument. The Blazers got the 3 seed. But the playoffs sort of exposed not just Dame, but the Blazers as a whole. We got swept by the 6 seed Pelicans, who then lost in the second round to the Warriors. But it was just crazy. It was we had gotten the 3 seed. No one thought we were going to lose to the Pelicans. And then Drew Holiday locked Dame up. It was really the first time he'd ever been completely stopped. And no one else on the team. I mean, C.J. McCollum had some okay moments in the series, but it was really just Dame getting locked up by Drew Holiday, which is ironic because of the trade that just happened. But after that, whatever happened that offseason with Dame, it completely, took him to a different level. Damian Lillard went from, like I said, a fringe top 10 player to in 2018-19, he was the guy. I probably had him overrated a little bit, but over the past few years, he's definitely earned where I had him Currently, I think I have him as like the 7th best player in the league, maybe 6th. But yeah, 2018-19 was like peak of being a Blazers fan for me, because we had really not had success. This team was like falling apart. But the 2018-19 season, we're heading into the playoffs. Our team is the 3 seed again. This was a really fun team. We had Seth Curry. We had Nurkic was injured, so we had Enes Kanter as our center. And I've never seen people be so supportive of a dude who was so garbage at defense at the center position. Like, it was just awful. But we had Al-Farouq Aminu, who was really good at defense. Seth Curry, who just did whatever you wanted. Mo Harkless, Rodney Hood. I love this team. Dame, CJ. Those were the main like rotational players. Oh, and Evan Turner as well. And then Myers Leonard also had a huge game in those playoffs. So going into the playoffs, we were the 3 seed, but we were against the 6 seed, which was the Thunder that had Russ and Paul George. And Paul George was 3rd in MVP voting that year. And a bunch of experts, like, there were a ton of experts that were polled, and only one of them had the Blazers winning. So, and even as a Blazers fan, like, I was hopeful, but I did not expect us to win. So, Blazers won game 1 and 2. Then which it was literally just the Dame show. Like, he was crazy. Then game 3, the Thunder whooped us. Like, we got kind of destroyed. Then game 4 we won, and then game 5 was like probably the first game. Like, Dame had big games before, but it was the first time where I was like that was the game that made me a Damian Lillard super fan. I remember I was on vacation in my camper, and I made a point of being like, we are not doing anything during this time because I want to watch this game. Dame goes off for I think 19 in the first quarter. Had 50 on the game, and had my profile picture, the game winner of his 2nd series winner for his career, but the first one that I watched, and waves Russ goodbye. To this day, I hate Russell Westbrook because of his beef with Dame, and just because whatever. Literally peak moment as a fan. Then in that series, Dame got hurt, but people wouldn't really realize it. So the next series against Denver, Dame was much, much worse. It was sort of just the CJ show. I'll never forget the 4 overtime game where it was literally CJ just carried, and we won in 4 overtimes. We wound up winning that series in 7, and then we once again versed the Dynasty Warriors. Except this time they didn't have KD, so I was like, oh, maybe we have like some chance of taking a few games. Game 1, we took a massive lead in the first half, and then the third quarter Warriors came and whooped us. Second game, I'm pretty sure they just destroyed us. Or no, maybe it was one of the first 2 games we were really close, and then the third and the fourth game, we were incredibly close up there as well. We had double-digit leads in 3 out of the 4 games. And that 4th game, because we got swept, the 4th game was Myers Leonard's greatest game of his career. He had like 30 points as a Blazer, and it was just like it was crazy because we drafted him 10th the same year that we got Dame, and it was just, he finally did something, but we still lost, so it didn't really matter because Draymond decided to be good at basketball. Then, the year after that, it all sort of went downhill. That was for some reason, after making the conference final, we decided to just overhaul the entire team. We got Hassan Whiteside, lost like all of our defense. Rodney Hood was injured, I'm pretty sure, so he was gone or something like that. And yeah, this was the bubble year, and going into the bubble, we like had no hope of making the playoffs. But then Damian Lillard had his first crazy stretch of being like God. Well, no. His first stretch of being God was earlier in the season, right when Kobe died, when he scored he averaged 52 points over a 6-game span or something. Now, his second stretch of being God was in the bubble when he won the bubble MVP, led the Blazers to the playoffs somehow. This was the year we had Melo. We also had Melo the next year. Melo was my second favorite player ever. It was a really fun team to watch. They just weren't good. I remember we won game 1 against the Lakers, and I was super hyped. And then we got reverse swept. So, it is what it is. Season after that, once again, we go into the playoffs. We are actually had a good record. I think we were the 5 seed or the 4 seed. Went against Denver without Jamal Murray. We should have won. Dame had the greatest playoff game of all time, and we still lost because CJ stepped out of bounds. So, yeah, that Dame just kept doing crazy things, and it kept not working out because the rest of the Blazers failed him. At that point, I actively wanted him to leave because I was tired of watching Jesus getting betrayed by 14 Judases on his team. And then the next season, Dame sat out half the year. The year after that, we were just bad. We started off good, and then we just were bad. And now we're where we are today, where Damian Lillard has just been traded to the Bucks and is now on the best team in the league and playing with one of the only superstars who's also loyal. I have nothing against the Blazers really that much. And I hope Dame goes back at the end of his career and wins a ring if they ever get their act together. But, yeah, I will continue to support Dame. And I hope that the next few years of his career are not as disappointing as far as team success goes as his first 11 years. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll see y'all in my next video, which will probably be Damian Lillard related because, yeah. All right, bye.